If you've made it this far into the video, I have one small request. Please watch till the end because every second holds a twist you won't see coming. This channel is brand new, and your support means everything. Just one subscribe can give us the push we need to keep going. Thank you. Now let's get into the story. My mother attempted to secretly arrange for my newborn to be adopted, believing my child would overshadow my sister's upcoming wedding. I took legal action, and now she's facing consequences. My sister's wedding is set for later this year, and I welcomed my son 3 weeks ago. Everyone was thrilled, except my mother, which didn't surprise me. To her, nothing outshines her favorite, my younger sister. I became pregnant some time ago, and when I was 6 months along, my sister got engaged to her partner of 3 years. Simple math shows I'd have my baby before her wedding. If my sister wanted a quick, small ceremony, it might have been different, but she planned a lavish, time-intensive event, as she and her fiancé made clear from the start. A few weeks after their engagement, my mother visited me, visibly anxious. She urged me to handle my pregnancy to avoid upsetting my sister. My sister and I aren't close. She's spoiled, and we've had no contact since our father passed away a few years ago. I only stayed in touch with my mother because I promised my dad I'd care for her, as he doubted my sister's responsibility. Despite my mother's favoritism toward my sister, I tried to maintain a bond with her until recently. When she came to announce my sister's engagement, I thought it was just to share good news. Instead, she claimed my baby's arrival would steal attention from my sister's wedding, arguing a pregnancy overshadows a marriage. I called her paranoid, pointing out that no one would skip the wedding for my child. Besides, I wasn't invited to my sister's wedding, as we're not friends, so I couldn't possibly upstage her. I'm no celebrity, so my baby wouldn't be a topic at her event. I thought my arguments were solid, but my mother insisted I conceal my pregnancy and baby from family and mutual friends to protect my sister's moment. I found this absurd, and we had a massive argument, after which I cut contact. I felt guilty for breaking my promise to my dad, but her irrational behavior left me no choice, especially while pregnant and stressed. Since then, it's been just me, my husband, and his family caring for our son. My mother wasn't present for his birth. My husband called her, but she was out with my sister and likely wouldn't have come anyway. I'm not her priority, a harsh reality I've accepted. If she could abandon our relationship over fears I'd steal my sister's spotlight by giving birth, I had nothing left to say. We had no contact until she called me recently. When I didn't answer, she texted urgently saying she needed to discuss something critical. I hesitated, not wanting to engage, but my promise to my dad nagged at me, so I picked up. I'm grateful I did, as I learned she's in legal trouble for trying to put my baby up for adoption without our consent. An adoption agency uncovered her fraud after she falsely claimed power of attorney, alleging my husband and I were addicts deemed unfit by a court. As the supposed custodial caretaker, she tried to proceed, but the agency quickly realized her documents were forged and halted the process. They informed her they'd pursue legal action, and she called me, hoping I'd help her avoid consequences. She was sobbing, begging for assistance, but I was stunned she'd expect my support after such a horrific act. Prioritizing my sister's wedding was one thing, but attempting to give away my child was unforgivable and foolish, as it's now drawn more attention to me. I hung up, feeling no sympathy. She deserved this, and worse. Later, the adoption agency contacted me to confirm the situation, and after discussing with my husband, we decided to sue her. We consulted a lawyer, filed a civil lawsuit, and learned criminal charges were also filed against her due to the severity of her actions. Mediation seems unlikely, and she faces potential jail time, though she's currently under house arrest. She's been emailing me relentlessly, apologizing and claiming she acted out of frustration because I didn't hide my pregnancy for my sister's sake. She admits her mistake, but keeps begging for help. I ignored her until she mentioned my promise to my dad, which shook me. I hadn't known she was aware of that private conversation. It felt like manipulation. And though I wavered, I decided not to drop the lawsuit. She brought this on herself, and I've honored my promise for years despite her neglect. Using my dad's memory was a low blow, and I nearly fell for it. Losing a parent, especially to cancer, weighs heavily, and I made that promise on his deathbed. It's not something I take lightly, which is why I tolerated her so long, but this crossed a line. My husband supports my decision, and I'm not seeking excessive damages, just repayment for what I've spent supporting her, as my sister never contributed. My dad likely chose me to care for her because my sister spends only on herself. He couldn't have foreseen this betrayal, and I believe he'd forgive me. Even if he wouldn't, I must protect myself and my son, my sole priority now. My mother has assets from my dad, including a house and money, plus her brother's support, so she won't be destitute. If she loses everything, it's no longer my concern. I've done enough. Update. 1. Mediation for the civil lawsuit has begun, but it's been rocky. My mother gets emotional, shouting and disrupting sessions, delaying the inevitable. I'm unsure if it's a tactic or genuine distress, but it won't change the outcome. My uncle contacted me, arguing the settlement amount is unfair and reminding me she raised me, calling her actions a minor mistake. But forging documents to adopt out my child wasn't minor. It was calculated. Had the agency not been diligent, she might have succeeded. The more I reflect, the less forgiving I feel. No money can undo her actions, but I'm only asking for what I spent on her, which my uncle dismissed as unfair. Our conversation escalated, and I suggested he pay the settlement if he cares so much. He shouted insults, and I ended the call. I don't understand how anyone defends her. My sister has been worse, portraying me as the villain to our family, claiming I'm suing out of spite for being ignored. She's spreading this narrative behind my back, forcing me to answer questions I wanted to avoid. This is deeply personal, and I didn't want it public, but her gossip has made it impossible to stay private. I'm answering queries partly because I may need family members to testify if this goes to court. Her narrative paints me as vindictive, ignoring the gravity of our mother's actions. It's not sibling rivalry. It's about protecting my child. Her self-absorption isn't surprising, but it's exhausting. Ironically, our mother's attempt to make my sister's wedding the year's highlight has backfired. This scandal will overshadow it, a poetic justice I'd find gossip-worthy if I weren't involved. Update. 2. My mother agreed to our settlement terms, and will receive the money, though her criminal trial continues. She and her lawyer are pushing for no jail time, but it looks unlikely. I've been asked to testify along with adoption agency staff and some family members, including my sister. Despite the chaos, my family's doing well. We took a weekend trip to visit my husband's grandparents, who reassured me I'm right to protect my son. They eased my guilt about breaking my dad's promise, saying he'd support me given the circumstances. The trip refreshed me, as this ordeal has been draining. My mother's recent mediation behavior improved, likely on her lawyer's advice. She avoids eye contact, which suits me. She doesn't deserve to look at me. My uncle and sister continue spreading negativity, but I'm unfazed. Those who matter support me, and gossipers stay neutral, posing no threat. The settlement money arrived, and we're saving it for our son's future, as we don't need it now. My sister confronted me, accusing me of ruining her wedding because our mother can't fund it anymore due to the lawsuit. She acknowledged I reclaimed my money but still blamed me, ignoring why this happened. I refused to let her inside, and when she yelled, I shut the door. She kept screaming, so I called the police. As they removed her, she shouted threats against me and my son, alarming neighbors. An officer suggested a restraining order, which we're pursuing. We're also moving, as my sister knows how to reach me and could intimidate us further. I'm changing my contact info to avoid gossip-driven inquiries from others. The move and legal fees are costly, especially with a newborn, but my son's safety makes it worthwhile. My husband and his supportive family keep me grounded. My in-laws have been there for me more than my mother since my dad's passing, and I'm grateful for them. My mother's trial concluded, and she was convicted on all charges. As a first-time offender, she avoided jail but must pay hefty fines to the adoption agency and me, complete community service, and attend court-ordered mental health treatment, as her lawyer claimed psychological issues. I've cut contact since the settlement and learned of the verdict through family. It feels fair. I secured a restraining order against my sister, and our move is underway, though stressful. The incoming fine money means we won't need in-law help or our son's settlement fund, a relief. My mother's personal life has unraveled. My sister publicly disowned her on social media, claiming ignorance of her actions and supporting her conviction. She did this to appease her fiancé's family, who considered delaying the wedding due to the scandal. My mother, who lived for my sister, is now abandoned by